YouTube family, Lisa A. Romano here, the ACOA Life Coach, coming to you today to talk about one of the things that we absolutely have control over as adult children of alcoholics and as codependents and as people who have generally been pushed around by other people our whole life. Why? Because as codependents and adult children of alcoholics or adult children of dysfunctional parents, we were discouraged as children, we were criticized as children, and we were taught to worry very much about what other people thought about us instead of being taught to worry about what we thought about ourselves. And so our connection to our feeling self, our emotional body, is very much interrupted. And one of the things that I feel very, very strongly about is positive self-talk. And so we need to acknowledge that our word is everything. Our words have the ability to heal DNA. Literally, sound can heal DNA. And the intent of the words that we use can actually either heal someone or, depending on the intent of the vibration of the words that we put out into the physical world, if we want to hurt someone, we can. Words can either build or they can destroy. And if you're watching this channel, you have experienced probably both in your lifetime. And it's important that we understand that on a quantum level, cells respond to intent. Cells aren't responding to the word, so I don't want anyone out there thinking, what is she, crazy? You know, she's talking about what plants can hear the word. No. But for instance, when we're talking about, on a cellular level, plants, when you talk to a plant in a nice way, it's been proven that the plant responds. A plant that's been spoken to kindly will grow healthier and more abundantly than a plant that is yelled at. And I mean, it sounds hokey pokey, but it's true. And it's not the words. Come on now, everybody knows it's not the words. It is the vibration and the intent of the words that actually create the healing in the plant or the encouraging. And so what do we want to do? Well, we have to want to encourage ourselves. Why? Because our cells have ears. Our cells are listening to us. So all day long, we have these taped messages going on in our head. And what does the brain do? The brain loops thought. The brain doesn't think, dear one. Your brain don't think. Whatever your parents taught you to think about you, you think about you. And unless you step into free will, which is your God-given ability in this time-space reality, this is Earth, and you get the choice to live above the veil or below the veil. It's entirely up to you. The healing journey requires that we drop the victim mode. We step out of victim mode. We step into our power, and we begin to understand that, yeah, you know what? God's DNA is in me. You know why you know that? Because we know that each of us is created in the image and the likeness of God, regardless of what denomination you believe in. And I'm not a big denomination person. I don't particularly, encourage anyone believing in anything, except that we all know that whatever created you, created me, created the stars, created the orcas, created the dolphins. I mean, it's so freaking cool. It's awesome. And so getting back to what I feel strongly about, which is the way we need to praise ourselves, we need to recognize ourselves, and we need to really, really encourage ourselves. And so when we do something like, I don't know, something silly, let's say we break a dish, instead of us saying to ourselves, damn idiot, oh my God, you're so clumsy. I mean, who are we talking to? Your mouth, your words, the intent is talking to self. How does that help? If you were a plant, you might be dead. Seriously. I mean, if your cells were plant cells and you were, the way you speak to yourself was the way you speak to a plant, I mean, who knows what? We have no idea. We have some inkling of how our negative self-talk affects us on a cellular level, because lots of us get headaches, we have colitis, we have stomach issues, I know I got migraine headaches, I got asthma, I got tunnel vision. So compounded by what I had learned to believe about myself in childhood by my very critical parents. Then I married a man who was extremely critical. And then on top of it, all this programming was teaching me to be critical of myself. So the soul that I was getting hit from all sides. And so honestly, dear one, I'm lucky I'm alive. I remember the day I walked into my doctor's office with asthma. The nurses behind the desk took one look at me, and they came from behind the desk. One got me under one arm, one got me under the other arm, dragged me in a back room, sat me down on a gurney, and said, "Stay here." Put oxygen on my face, hooked steroids up to me IV, started giving me antibiotics IV, shot me in the arm with at least 2 B12 shots. Doctor came in the back and he said to me, "Lisa, do you know how sick you are?" And I just shook my head like, no. And he said, "You're breathing with less than 20% of one lung. That's how bad your asthma is." And once I calmed down, after about an hour of a nebulizer treatment, he came back into the room and I could start to breathe a little bit better. Asthma is just horrible, people. It's just horrible. And he said to me, "You better listen to your body because your body is listening to you." And it was like, wow. It was one of those moments where you just never forget it. And it was still very early on my journey. I didn't know what that meant, but I never forgot it. I better listen to my body because my body is listening to me. So in that moment was this idea that this window that was opened in my awareness, actually a window open called awareness. I don't think I had awareness before then. And I began to understand that I could talk to my cells. I could talk to, or at least my cells were listening to me. And so I began to keep a journal of the way I spoke to myself. Well, let me tell you, it was my own personal burn book. I started paying attention to the way I spoke to myself when I woke up and looked in the mirror. "Damn, you're getting old, girl. You're so ugly. Oh my God, you need some surgery or you need some new lotion. What's wrong with you?" I mean, I look in the rearview mirror of my car. I'm sorry, I have to shut this down. I would look in the rearview mirror of my car and I would, again, criticize the way I looked. I would walk past a store window and I would criticize the way I looked, you know. My ex-husband would say something negative to me and I'd be like, he's right. Nobody likes me. He's right. I'm so stupid. Oh my God. I'm so selfish. I can't believe I asked him for that. I can't. What's wrong with me? I do make a big deal about my feelings. And so when I started writing all that negative self-talk down, I began to understand the power of the word. And I turned it inside out. And so what I began to do is I began to replace all those negative programmed self-talk, that embedded self-talk. I began to see it and I began to replace it. And so when I sat in my car and I looked in the rearview mirror and I heard this negative thought, I said, "No, not today. Not today. Get behind me today. Today, I'm going to say, you had a rough night. You hardly slept. So if you don't look refreshed today, that's okay. You're not refreshed today. Tonight, go to bed a little bit earlier. You know, don't have so much coffee today. Maybe have a cup of chamomile tea before you go to bed. You know, put some moisture, clean your face, put some moisturizer on, go to bed. You know, go to bed in a nice state. Wake up, you'll feel better tomorrow." And so I began to soothe myself. I began to praise myself. And write this down. I want you to praise yourself. I want you to recognize your successes. And I want you to encourage yourself. And I promise you, dear one, if you begin to encourage yourself and praise yourself, if you begin to be less critical of yourself mentally in your own mind, you will begin attracting people who treat you that same way. When you criticize self, you attract people who criticize you. It is cause and effect. You are a vibrational being more than you are a physical being. And this is a vibrational universe. So that means all that is vibrating and attracting to it the same vibration. And so, you know, although it might look like everyone's out to get you, what's really going on is that until you stop being the first one, being your own worst enemy, until you stop being the one who seems like is out to get you, these people in your environment are going to still keep showing up because all that is a projection. Everything that's going on in front of you is a projection of what is going on inside your own mind. And so how your third eye sees you is what gets projected onto the screen of life. So we have a screen inside our mind, and we project onto our minds how we feel about self and through the word, and it gets projected into the outer world. And guess what, dear one? You have control over that. Isn't that awesome? Okay, this has been I hope it's been an encouraging and enlightening video for you. Please send me your comments. I love to respond to them. And subscribe to you one. Help me help everybody else out there. My name is Lisa Romano. My books are The Road Back to Me, My Road Beyond the Codependent Divorce, Loving the Self-Affirmations, and Quantum Tools to Help You Heal Your Life Now. My website is www.healingselfesteem.com. And you are loved. I bow to the love and the light in you, dear one. Namaste.